Creating change. It's the movement. Let's go, guys. Grab your phone. Go invest in you a cheap microphone like this. I'm calling it cheap because it's only just a few bucks, or I say a few bucks, like 25 bucks altogether maybe. Get you a microphone. Start sharing with everybody. Inspire. Take something that you love and share it with the world. That's what creating change and movement's all about. It's about you. The better you can do for yourself, the better that you're going to be able to do for everybody around you. Creating change, man. It's the movement. Guys, it's so fun to be a part of something like this and just feel inspired by the next leg of a journey. You know, you feel certain times in your life where you're like, man, I finally found something that I just enjoy. Purely and just enjoy. So that's why I just keep encouraging people, man. Just do it, because I just keep going. If you feel good about what you're doing, no matter what it is, if you feel inspired by the project you have going on, share it with us. Let us see it. Let us be a part of it. There's people out there that just enjoy being a part of it. There's creators out there that like being a part of communities, like being a part of other people, because that's what we need. We need to be a part of things, guys. We desire it. It's what we want. It's what we want. I just encourage you guys, please share with the world the things that you have. You have an opportunity right now. Just post. Just keep putting stuff out there. Share it. Create the change for you. Creating change for you. That is the movement. Guys, just go. Just get it. It's nothing. You just pick up your phone, you hit record, and you go for it. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be anything, elaborate. You don't have to have all this special gear. Yeah, that's all cool if you get inspired to have it. That's cool, but go get you just one of these little microphones. They're nothing, it's not no big investment. You don't even have to have that. You don't have to do that. It just kind of helps with background noise and like other things like that. And I'm just trying to throw helpful tips out to you, all you new creators out there, people that may have been on here for a while and just wondering what it's like to start sharing that, can't get back. Just do it. Just get that first, just hit the record button and start talking. I promise you, you do that a few days in a row, the next thing you know, that's going to start getting comfortable. Then you're going to start trying to think of, well, what's a new way I could go about doing this, or how can I set my camera up so that they can see me as I do this little project, or whatever. It just starts releasing these things in your brain, and you start getting these creative, ideas and stuff, and it's fun. Because I find myself sitting around in the evening time just thinking about like different ways that I can bring, something to everybody. And then sometimes it's just out of the blue. You just go for it. You're just like, the heck with it. And, that's just what it's all about, is good vibes. And just, for me, it's about sharing and inspiring with people, helping people to see that man, there's nobody going to jump out and eat you. And just treat people on here just like you would treat your friends. Just be nice, be kind, show people what you're doing, inspire people by your love for what you're doing, no matter what it is. If it's working puzzles, then work puzzles and talk about how you feel as you do it and what it brings you. If you like to dance, then film while you're dancing and talk about the love you have for it, or just show the love you have for it. If you play an instrument, pick it up and play it for us. You don't have to be the best in the world. Just play it. That held me back for so long, guys. It held me back for so long because I was like, man, I need to do this. I need to get better at this. Don't do that to yourself. Just post. Just get it and post it. Send it out to the world and let them have it. Share it out. Create change for you. That's the movement. It's about you. There isn't nothing else on here that matters at the particular time that you're doing it, because you're doing it for yourself with this camera. You're doing it to share with the rest of the world. Then it's for everybody else. See? If you're not sharing it with everybody, it's you do it. Then you have to post it. You have to share it, or it just sits in your camera roll and it doesn't do nothing, or you wind up going through and deleting it or editing yourself to death. Don't do that. Just get on here and inspire and be happy. Have fun. There's people that get on here and do push-ups. There's people that get on here and do exercise and walk, and there's people on here that just want to inspire others. That's the category that I fall in. I just want to see others feel inspired to do the things that they enjoy doing, and share it with everybody, because it's the new movement. It's creating change for you. Guys, I appreciate y'all being here as always. Like, subscribe, share if you feel so led. If not, I really don't care. I just appreciate you guys being here. Y'all be good. And don't forget to use the pause button sometimes. You can do a lot of cool things just by hitting the pause button and starting again. Always good vibes, my beautiful people.
Oh man, here we go again. We're going to create change. Make it happen this time. Let's go. Always good vibes.
Always.
Get out of the open. I can feel it. It's going to be a good day, a great day. Let's go.
Great day,
always
baby.
good
Always
vibes.
good vibes.
Create
Yeah.
change. Let's go. Always good vibes. Let's go. Always good vibes.
Friday.
Yeah.
Thank God it's
You gotta hype
Friday,
that up, man. Yep.
Yeah, man. Thank God it's Friday. Here we are, man. Welcome, Sean. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, man.
Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Rocking on through, man. As promised with everybody, man. Always creating change and always coming at you with a real talk. So we are keeping up with the theme. We have done all of our proper stuff, and then took something that we like, the title that we like, and properly optimized it, shared it to the world. So welcome to anybody that may not have ever been here. This is Guy and Shine, 11 to 1, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday Eastern Standard Time. Always good vibes. Today's topic is, are we too soft as a society? And, when I started thinking about this a couple days ago, the first thing that I do is I start trying to really reflect on, like, what does that mean to me? And the first word that came to my mind as I started thinking about a way to open this topic was feelings. And the reason I say that is because, in my personal opinion, we have created a society in which that somehow they believe that their feelings is how that things are created or changes are made. And that's not true. It's fact that creates the change. It's fact that actually applies the things in our lives that matter. Because if we allow our feelings to reflect everything that we do in our life, then we're not going to go to work. We're not going to do our homework. We're not going to do our chores because I don't feel like it. Well, somehow we've created a society in which, in my personal opinion, that we have led them to believe that somehow their feelings matter. Well, in some instances, it does. But in the grand scheme of things, it's about what works, what keeps order, what makes a society grow together, what creates that. Well, have an open dialogue.
Yep.
Not canceling other people's thoughts, listening to what's being said, disagreeing, but being respectful.
Yep.
Having a point of view and not getting mad because you're uneducated on a topic. Not getting upset because you don't have nothing to say, so we'll just call them a name that now doesn't mean anything. These names that they've threw around that once was insulting to even hear. Now we hear those names so often that it's like par for the course. Let's take another putt. So as I started digging into this topic and looking into, just the past 10 years and thinking about, just with my own children and witnessing for myself now that I've been on social media for, almost a year, because up until that point, I had never really been a part of any of this, even on Facebook. The little Facebook page I had, I barely knew how to share pictures and stuff to it. And then I didn't even really get into the whole forum part of it, so to speak, where, for me, it wasn't even, I could barely keep up with a dang phone long enough to even remember the password to get into the Facebook account. So it's like, For me, I didn't get into it, but what I have noticed is that over the course of just playing with YouTube now and starting to explore other social media platforms, and not necessarily being a part of them, because YouTube is the only thing I can say that I'm truly, like, invested. I feel like I got a stake in it, like, okay, I've been on this long enough and been coming around and doing stuff on it long enough. I kind of see what's going on. I'm aware. Now,
Right.
with the other ones, I can't say that, so I'm not speaking on them like that from a personal standpoint, but I see it on all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you see that there's no consequences for your actions, which most actions these days are taking place on a platform of some kind,
Mm-hmm.
then when you see a society that's being raised to think that just any way that they feel is okay, then or that somehow that's supposed to be, the way that everybody feels, then I think by creating platforms like this, it's a great thing and a bad thing. Because on one hand, you give people an opportunity to share with the world that don't have an opportunity to share with the world, or maybe don't have the means to be able to travel and do it any other way, or any
Right.
other whatever.
Yep.
But then you've also created a forum in which that there's no real consequences for the bad things that you say, or the rudeness that you have, or you create this little bubble that which you live in, but then when you go out into the world, you find out that that little bubble gets busted quick.
Oh yeah.
And
Yep.
I believe that it comes down to feelings. We
Yeah.
feelings is cool, like, I get that,
Mm,
but there's also a time for when fact has to take place of even your feelings. And
absolutely.
that goes for myself.
Mm,
And I believe that goes. I believe that goes for everybody. Like, I get that maybe there's some things about some, like, I hear our leaders, our supposed leaders, and I say that so lightly.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
because you can walk behind me, but you might fall off a cliff. I'm telling you, you look for yourself if the step is good, and I do.
Yes.
You know, but when I see that there's so many of their feelings goes into decisions that are being made, that it sickens me, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how they feel. I don't
No.
care about what they feel. I care
No.
about what does your constituents want from you.
Yeah. Your job is not to feel.
Your
Your job is
job
to
is
listen to the
not
people.
your job is not to pontificate on
Mm-mm.
us your feelings. I don't care about your feelings,
No.
and neither should anyone else but their therapist and their loved ones and their
Yep.
friend. You know what I mean?
Yep.
As far as a society, I don't. We don't need your feelings. We need you to go on what is it that fact says on your side of the people. What do the people decide for you to do, or or like with scientists, like, man, this tells what the facts are. Don't put your feelings in it. Just tell us what's real and what's not real. You
Well,
know
it's
what
like
I'm
that
saying?
phrase that they coined, over the last decade of tell us your truth. It's like, I don't care about your truth. If you know the
Yeah,
definition of that word, it's you, the way you see things with your
that's a
bias
scary.
attached.
Yeah, that's a scary saying right here. Tell me about your truth.
Tell me about your truth. Well, I can tell you about a whole
Well,
bunch of
I can
truths.
tell
None of
you,
them are
I have
real.
told myself all my life that I'm probably one of the best things that's ever come since pockets on a t-shirt. But I can tell you, the world has
Yeah.
not seen me as useful as a pocket on a t-shirt. Now, I feel like
Yeah.
I'm
My
pretty
truth
damn
is,
useful myself. But the world does not necessarily feel that way.
no.
Now,
No, it doesn't.
I'm as important as the pocket on my t-shirt. But I'm
Yeah.
probably not as important to you as the pocket on your t-shirt. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Like,
I do. And like the whole thing too, like I was thinking about this the other day and I was talking to another fellow about it and like, you bump into people and you have random conversations. And I said something. I said, a person with no responsibility is the most dangerous person on the planet, right? Then he's like, what do you mean by that? I said, well, if you think you can get by with just, crying, which is the term I'm going to use, right? Which you talking about your feelings. but you're not actually responsible for any of it, right? So it's like who shoots first? It's like them old like let's pull on each other and see who gets the other one first. So if I get you first, then I'm right. Is that how this works now?
Right.
Like that don't make no sense.
No.
And then everybody gang up on that one person and then whatever cancel them or say it's wrong. And what's interesting is like I found that this is cyclical, like music and trends, and even like with this Are We Soft, the cancel culture. You're starting to see people starting to speak the way that they used to speak without censoring
Yeah.
themselves, which I am happy to start
Yeah.
seeing that
Me
coming
too.
back because
Me too.
man, I was really at a point where I'm like, I don't know if we can turn this ship
Is
around.
it really prominent where you guys are, the whole that whole
Oh man, you got
scene
like
like
I,
that?
in my own neighborhood, all right? Like there's certain things like I'll say it. I have a cigarette every once in a while. I like
Sure.
a
Yeah.
wobbly pop once in a
Yeah.
while. And I mean, if I'm on my in on my property, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a busy area, people going by giving the
Oh.
or like walking down the road like scoffing at you and just looking at you. And it makes me then go, "Whoa,"
Yeah.
right? And you check yourself. And you go like, "Well, wait a minute. Like what why is this happening right now?" Oh, cuz y'all have deemed it's not okay now and now I'm the leper. Okay, let's go deeper on that. If I got to think about what I'm going to say next, which is never something I've had to do because I don't go out of my way to be ignorant or anything like that, but there's certain words, certain phrases that I've used my whole life that
Yeah.
all of a sudden have become or had become, they're starting to come back, and people are realizing that if you're going to stand up for something, make sure the people or the group that you're standing up for actually wants you to stand up for them because it turns out most of the time they had no problem with what's going on, right? Now you're getting into other people standing up for things and not taking time to think about what it is they're even engaging in. So the backlash on this, I think, is going to be interesting because all these people that have gone out to whatever movements they've set their face to, and you got to remember, like once you do that, like you're set to it. What happens when that changes and people are tired of your
Well,
BS?
it just it baffles my mind when I'm watching because I watch the news and other channels. I don't just watch the news, but
Nope.
you watch the news and stuff. And you know, you'll see somebody that's there in the name of protesting.
Hmm.
Okay. I do believe in that right to protest. I believe in that right.
Right.
But when all you have as a protest stance is, and I have seen it on our that's why I bring it up,
Yep.
somebody just screaming at the top of their lungs, or somebody that has asked a question and immediately goes to name calling. The first thing that comes to my mind, it used to be anger, but
Hmm.
now I've channeled that into, I feel sorry for them for their lack of education. It
Hmm.
has to be a lack of knowledge that makes them want to scream.
Yeah.
It has to
Yeah.
be because you're there asking a question, a fair question,
Yep.
or you're there to find out a true cause. Give us
Mm.
your true call. What is it that you're? And the best you can come up with is to call me a name,
Or scream in your
or call
face.
a group of people a
Hmm.
name because of a thought or because of a feeling. Then that, to me, that's something to feel, to feel sorry for, that you feel like that's the only way that you can express yourself. There's
Well,
other ways to, we
and
teach
this
children
like
not to do that, or
y- yeah, and like the blind acceptance, like that's the part that really got me over the past few years is like I don't want to say gang mentality because gangs are much better organized, but just this idea that anybody can be part of our group. We don't care like who you are. You've not been vetted, and we're gonna let you go
yeah,
out and represent this whole. And then everybody's gonna
can't do
back
that.
your madness. You can't be doing that. You
Can't do
can't
that.
do that. You have to have some kind of rules,
Yeah,
some
you
kind
do.
of values. You know.
Well, and one, like I say, it's just like any of you guys that have been through, any type of boot camp or any type of anything like that. Then it's one of those things. Well, look, if one mess up, everybody gets to do
That's
push-ups,
right.
or everybody gets
That's
to do
right.
it. Well, in that situation, when you have a big group of people like that, and you have 2% that begin to get violent, I'm sorry, but then that has to shut it down.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's not, because you got to shut that down. Sorry for
Mhm.
everybody, but these idiots right here, that's
They
why there's
ruined
such
it.
a high, and make it a
Mm,
high cost for
yes,
doing
sir.
something like that.
That's
And
right.
then that'll make it to
Hmm.
where that people will not want to abuse that right, where that
Hmm.
you are destroying people's property, or you're defacing, or you're just making it to where we're going to have to spend money to pay some town workers to go out there and scrub that for a few days. Well, you didn't do nothing but cost taxpayers and somebody that has something better to do with their job than have to come out there and scrub some wall.
Yep.
And now you got them out there scrubbing this stuff, and you didn't make no point at all.
Mm,
So,
no.
I feel like that there is a time and a place for your feelings to matter, but I think that in the grand scheme of thing, it has to rely on fact, and that's why that I feel like you have to hold your people that are at higher ranks, at a higher, at the leadership positions. You have to hold them to a standard that says, now look, we don't really care about your feelings, pal
That's right. Yep.
or gal. We
Hmm.
we care about what does the constituents say you should feel. That's
That's right.
that's basically in this situation, that your vote should reflect that, or your laws that you try to attempt to get put in, or whatever, or things you do for your community or whatever.
Hmm.
And that's where, with this whole thing with the social media deal, I think that it's okay for people to have feelings, and it's okay to put them out there, but it's not for the world to create its ways around your particular feeling, because if you went with that, then who would ever feel like going to work? Who would ever
Yeah.
feel like, taking the trash out? Who would
Oh,
ever,
well,
like,
and
I
and you
tell my
and you're
kid, like,
yeah.
go clean your
Yep.
room, and it don't,
Yep.
if I get one of them, man, I don't feel like it, Dad. Well, it's okay to not
Added
feel
to the
like doing
list of
it
the
the
things you don't
whole
feel like doing.
it's
Yeah.
okay to not feel like
Yeah.
doing it the whole time, or
Hmm.
not want to. You
Yeah.
cannot want to the whole time that you clean your room. You can go in there and be like, I don't even want to be doing
Yeah.
this, and clean
Yeah.
it. Hey, that's cool with me. It's okay
Hmm.
to not want to do things. It's okay to not feel like doing things sometimes. It's okay to, what I mean? Like get
Well,
over
I mean, in
yourself.
fact, that's going to
Mm.
be. It's interesting you say that because what were we watching? I was watching the movie Jack last night with my son, right? With Robin Williams, where he like ages really fast. He's like a full
Yeah,
grown man in a 10-year-old body, right?
yeah.
And there's a part in the movie where he takes like a heart attack, and it turns out to be angina. And my son goes, "Well,
Yeah,
why wouldn't he get a job?" It's the
right.
first thing he says. And he's in school, elementary school at the time. And I go, "Well, why would he get a job?" He goes, "To feel the experience." I said, "Well, that's a good answer." And he's like, it was, so we carry on that conversation a bit. And then he gets into the, like, I said, "Well, what would you do?" And he goes, "Well, I'd want to know what it was like." I said, "But what if you did and you didn't like it?" He goes, "Well, I'd do it anyway." So it kind of circles back to that. Okay, you're getting a bit of understanding in there that there's going to be things that, like, it's not all roses, so to speak, right? There's going to be a lot of things that you do for a bit, and hopefully that motivates you to get to the things you really want to do. But these shortcuts and stuff, I see how we're paying for them now, because as you were saying before, it's like if I give you a check and I give you a place to live, what is your true motivation to like participate at all
Right.
in society? Well, the numbers are staggeringly low. Like I just searched earlier, what is the rate of somebody who's on system, any kind of pay with housing? Once they're in that position, what is the rate of people returning to work? And it was below 11% for 100% of people that would go into that situation, right?
Mm.
So now up here, and I'll speak for, you know, my country, Canada, or our country, whatever, and just the bit of traveling I've had to do over the last few weeks, seeing this at a rate that has been shocking, then kind of laminates a lot of the stuff, or makes me think this, like, what happened? Why did you give up, right? Like, why did you stop participating in your life, in society, and whatever? And a lot of these guys told me the same thing, and unfortunately most of it was men. It just got to a point where it wasn't worth doing no more. So they quit.
Mm.
And now, you know, you're checked out and you're doing whatever. So that's one more down. Um, and I don't like that because what's going to happen and what seems to be happening now is this cyclical change of let's include everybody. And it's important. I've seen somebody say something about the First Amendment. Freedom of speech is one thing. Destruction of property and being an
Yeah.
aimless, mindless zombie who just goes out and says stuff and shouts stuff and causes problems and makes everybody think the world is that way, I don't think is an effective means to get your point across, you know?
No, no, indeed. Yeah, and I agree with AB. Yeah, the First Amendment is important to recognize, but it's important to also establish a respect
Hmm.
for that. And that's where I'm coming from. I guess in my view is there's you got to be civil about things. You got to
Yep.
stay civil about things, and there has to be repercussions too. It's not society's fault if there's not repercussions, because society, you give them an inch, they take a mile. It's just the way it works,
Hmm.
and it is evolved. So you have to have repercussions for those kind of things. Like I say, I don't mind for people. I want to see that and see people stand up for what they think is right. But standing up for what you think is right is not like going around spray painting things or like,
No.
destroying businesses or anything. I don't care who owns it. It's like, well, somebody's got to rebuild it. And actually, it just takes away from the people that are living. I know, like this. I live in one of the poorest areas, and you can go right across the mountain and be in one of the even more poorest areas. And if you burn one of those businesses down, or their grocery store down, well, now you done burnt the only store business that they
Yep.
got down. I mean,
Yep.
or something like that. I know that you're talking about cities where this happens, but I mean, just put it in. It's somebody's livelihood.
Yep.
Like, people depend on that store that live in that area, no matter how big or small the spot
And
is,
like,
man.
like with this whole thing of like, I get wanting to be part of a group and I get that you go through different stuff at different points in your life, but like one thing that just like kind of hit me square in the face yesterday was I find it shocking that after just what I've seen and experienced in my own lifetime that we are more divided now than I can remember 20 years ago. And
Right.
like a lot of this plays into it because almost every person you meet that's new, I mean, years ago, it'd be like, hey, how the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, get a high five and let's get to it. Now it's like an interview and like, what's your politics? What do you think? What are you doing? And
Yeah, and I don't really even. Yeah,
no, man,
like.
like it's like I don't care about that. But if you if
Yeah,
you if
like.
you want to get into it, it's
uh,
like, do you see this as a top down problem,
let's
right?
just
Like
say
it
that
shouldn't be me and you. Me and
we
you should
talked
be
about
together
this.
going,
We talked
right?
about this one time before, like at my work, man. Working in construction work, and it was mostly around men.
Yeah,
There was a couple women that did, but I live in a smaller area, so there was a lot more men than women in the trade. So I worked around men a lot of times. But
yep,
man, I could work around. I mean, I worked with my dad a lot, so obviously I know a lot. Know about my dad, but I could work around a man for 5, 6 years, and we would never discuss like any kind of nothing other than like
yeah,
work and
yeah,
like just how you doing and like how what I mean, like
exactly. Yep.
well, and like what the job had going on, and
Hmm.
and that's why I say that there's some things that, like, I just don't even care why we even talk about it. I don't even know why that it's even a topic of anybody's discussion.
Oh, I
You know
mean,
what I
them are
mean? Like,
what are the three things that they say? It's like politics, how to raise your kids, and religion, right? It's like as long as
yeah.
just avoid those things, and we can talk about them if you want to talk about them. But if it's going to turn into a shout match,
Well,
and
see, this is it.
the
That's the
first time
thing, is
you like
there is no
yeah,
talking about
no,
anything anymore. It
no,
always turns
shouting,
in to shout, or somebody's angry, instead of saying, okay, there's a time. I've said it before, I'll say it again. There's a
mm,
time to bend. There's a
yeah,
time to accept change, but there's also a time to plant your roots. You have to plant roots somewhere.
yes, you
And
do,
now, when I feel like it's getting outside of where my roots are planted, then I stop with the bend. And
mm,
then I accept that, okay, now okay, you just a little bit far outside of where I can accept, but I'm cool. But this is
that's
my
fine,
planted area right here. This is where
hmm,
my roots are growing, and I get it that you got your own spot. that you have to plant yourself in. Now, if we happen to be able to intertwine and accept that along with each other, we can grow together and we can do things.
Yep.
If not, then that's fine. You get planted where you need to go to get it. You know what I mean? That's the way I feel about it.
Like that's where like the and I even remember I can remember the first like time I really got into it with someone. It was probably in grade 8 or something, right? And like I'm just, why don't you get why the way I think? Like, and then like I remember it popping off, and then after you're sitting there with the same individual, and then you're like, I'm sorry about that. I don't even know why I went to 11. So you learn to take that 10 seconds or 3 or whatever you need to be like, well, it doesn't really matter. I mean, like, we can still work together. That's what's important. We need to work together, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right. Like
I mean,
I remember it was my aunt, and I won't put them on Front Street like that, but it was one of my aunts from my daddy's side, and they were talking about that their kids may not even get together and be at the Christmas thing together because of politics.
what?
It made me, for the first time in my life, I truly was heartsick. I was like, I'd never truly like a lot. I'd heard about people doing that like on TV, and I always thought it was some bullshit that the news just kind of threw out there. But then when I heard my own family, like I'm like, we're better than that. Like I will pray for you, and I'll pray for that to change, because that's a heart sickness. That's and that's you know that's a more scary sickness than any cancer or any affliction that could be laid on you in this lifetime, is to ever allow something like that to come between the time that you can spend with your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister. That is, and that's a heart sickness, and I pray for that. That will never happen in my life. I don't care what anybody. I don't care. That's the whole reason why you go into a booth and you do it for yourself, and it's in private. I don't give a flying crap about that when it comes down to the time that we can get to spend together throwing horseshoes.
That's right.
Or whatever it is, breaking bread and then get up and roll out. Whatever. If that's the best we can do, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
But it's like that's just that'll never.
It seems like a lot of these things have been strategically planned to conquer and divide. You know what I mean? So it's like that whole thing. I remember it being big. Like I'm just gonna call it Christmas because that's what I call it. You know what I mean? And it changed as Happy Holidays. I remember we weren't
Merry
even.
Christmas, man.
It was Merry Christmas, man. And I remember my boss coming to me and be like, you can't say Merry Christmas to people. You have to say Happy Holidays or Season's Greetings. I'm like,
yeah, right.
Not happening. So I'm Merry Christmasing 10 times louder.
For you. What'd you say?
If you want to say Happy Holidays, I don't care about it. But I mean, you're not going to stop me from saying Merry Christmas. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen.
However you want, like,
so like there's that, and then there's that reinforcing of the idea that this is okay in the first place. It's like, okay, so riddle me this: how is it okay to marginalize one specific group, but the other ones are all okay to do whatever they want? And why is this a recurrent event to like the very fabric of society? So, well, fast forward 20 years and here we are.
Here we are, man. Well, that's a good segue into like, that's where we've came.
Yeah.
And the there was a time even in our lives, and we're one of the last generations to see it, John.
Yeah.
My generation and your generation your generation especially, because I got about 8 years on you. So your generation especially is probably one of the last ones that will remember a time when that everything wasn't immediate.
Correct.
When that you actually waited 6 weeks because you ordered something out of a magazine and then you waited on that to get there. And it's not, there's something that's taught in that time that you wait. There's something that is learned that if it's not something that's there in your life, then you lose that that
Yeah,
you lose that
100%.
experience,
It's the
man.
beginning states of patience, and I know, like, for myself, patience was something I had to work on
Oh,
even
yeah,
after.
man,
But man, if I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
do that, I would have been a
It's a
lunatic.
daily work on for me.
Yeah, for
Patience is
sure.
a daily work for me,
Yeah.
bro. And that's an important, man. That's one of the most, because I in my mind I can get things done a hell of a lot faster than you can physically. Anybody, you
Of
know what I mean?
course.
So in
Yep.
my mind, I'm like, well, I do this, and then when you actually get started, you're like, holy shit, like, geez, I should have planned out a week. I said I could do, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like, like,
yeah,
dang, man.
yep.
But let me come through here, man. Good morning. This is Guy and Shine, 11 to 1. Um, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday Eastern
Eastern
Standard Time.
Standard
We appreciate
Time.
y'all being here, man. This was just a pretty good little topic for us, man. We were talking about, are we too soft as a society? And that leads us down the rabbit hole of, I just personally feel like that it has, we have created a society in which that somehow it's okay for them to feel one certain way. But then
Mm,
if they're asked to be that oriented with the next person's feelings, there's no way. And what we have
mhm.
to grow to understand is that our feelings in the end doesn't matter to, yeah, it
Nah,
matters to us, but it doesn't
yeah.
matter to the world. The world just don't even care. It's going to keep right on ticking either which way.
How long have
And
you thought about these feelings you have? Like,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Oh,
how much
I
time is
said,
on
uh, let's see. Let me get over here in the comments now because
them? Yeah.
I've missed out for. Let's see. We got good morning, AB. We got my high school was. I've been kind of glancing back and forth, so I've seen you, AB. My high school was named Robert E. Lee. Then cancel culture had to change the name to. What am I doing? Let me get it up here. There we go. Change the name to Lee Legacy of Educational Excellence. Took the rebel flag, stars, and bars off of every sport uniform, pictures, etc. See, that's just silly to me. That's just plumb silly to me. Like that's just silly to me. Ain't nobody cares. Come on, man. Come on, man. There's a lot of things to care about that ain't gonna take up my time with that kind of stuff. And I don't know why people allow that. Don't even it It's dumb. It's dumb, maybe. I don't like that kind of stuff, man. But whatever. Uh, whatever to those that don't like it, that's cool. But your particular feeling don't get to decide whether that stays or goes. So, uh, William at Brooklyn, what's up, gentlemen? What's up? Good morning, Peyton Samuels. Shout out to you. I'm coming back through, guys. Magic Healing, good morning, Miss Amina. Shout out to you. I'm getting back up through here. Elevated Einstein in the house. Weak men. Let's see. Weak men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Indeed, man. I like that. We got brother Clint in the house. Gen X in the house. I pinned his. He said, if you ain't first, if
Your
you ain't first,
last.
you're last. Let's go.
Hell, Ricky,
Yeah.
that doesn't even make sense. I was probably drunk when I said that. You could
Yeah.
be fifth, sixth, hell, you could be 20th.
Yeah, there you go. There
There
you
you go.
go, man. But hey, shout out to everybody. We appreciate y'all being here, man. This has
Yeah,
been one of those times where I've shared with you guys that over the next course of this journey, then I'm gonna start trying my best to optimize and do all that kind of stuff with titles and things
for
like
sure.
that. Always good vibes, but as we've said in the past, we're willing to talk about anything, so we never know what exactly the topic may be about. Um, but we'll always approach it with respect, man. Trying to bring it from a real standpoint doesn't mean that what we say is right or wrong.
No.
That certainly doesn't mean that at all. But hey, we got a awesome, man. I see you down there. I see you down there. We got a special guest coming up with us here in just a couple
Yeah,
minutes.
man.
Brother Gen X, if you can hear me, cool. I'm gonna play us a little bit of a song out and go get me a drink, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna finish talking about this.
Get into
I
it.
got
Yeah.
man, yeah, hey, I get
Crack
lost
some eggs, man.
lost trying to read through and do two things at the same time. I got all scrambled for a sec. I had myself all rigged up
I
there,
smell
and
that
then I
smoke from
got to,
here.
yeah, I did. I felt so good about myself. I was like, hell, I'm nailing it. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, what was I gonna do? I still kind of forgot, but I'm gonna play a
Saturday,
song out
Monday,
here.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, my shot. Yeah, good vibes. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 to 1 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be back here in just a few minutes. This is Shine with Silly Girl. Encourage you to go support at Shine Dig. We
Yes, sir.
appreciate y'all being here. This is Guy and
Thank
Shine,
you, guys.
11 to 1. Always good vibes. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
It's for you, sweetie. All right. Where did you come from, silly girl? I know I just met you, but I can't seem to get you out of my head, out of my head. My favorite song was playing, and you were shaking your hips with little invitation. We were locking lips, and know that I'll never forget you, no matter how hard I try. I can't even find a pen so I can see you again. You gave me your poison, and I breathed you in. And just like my favorite things, you disappear in the end. The end. And as the band was winding down, I couldn't seem to find you in the crowd of faces. Then out of nowhere, you appear without one question. Yeah, we disappeared, and know that I'll never forget you, no matter how hard I try. Can't even find the words to tell you how much you blew my mind. Gave me your poison, and I breathed it in. But just like my favorite things, you disappear in the end. The end. The end. It's just the beginning. Well, you know I won't forget you, no matter how hard I story. I hope you're still out.
Mistakes. Don't miss these. Don't miss these. Oh man, here we go again. We're going to create change. Make it happen this time. Let's go. Always good vibes. Get out of your bed.
Stay in your bed.
It's going to be a good day, a great day. Let's go. Always good vibes. Create change. Let's go. Let's go. Always good vibes.
Welcome everybody. This is John John,
Always
11
good
Monday, Wednesday,
vibes.
Friday Eastern Standard Time. Always good vibes. We appreciate y'all being here, man. This morning's topic's been about are we too soft as a society? Common sense versus cancel culture, man. Welcome everybody. We appreciate y'all
Yep.
being here. We got a special guest coming up in the house. Welcome, brother Clint. Gen X in the house, man. Thank you
Hey.
for being here, my man.
Yeah, that's
Appreciate
our
you,
live
brother.
studio audience.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. Sit down. Hey, hold on, the audience is y'all sit down.
Yeah, sit down. Only when the applause sign is on. You don't get your $5.
Hey, fellas, what y'all up to, man?
Not
Hey,
much,
man.
man. Not much. Hey, just we were digging in on this here touchy topic, maybe for some. I don't think we've been too touchy about it though. I think
Nah.
common
Nah,
sense
nah.
versus cancel culture, right?
Nah, not too touchy at all. I mean, I got an invite to a rant session. I had to show up. Like, I just
Love it.
like you built this for me today. You know, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
and I got an invite. I got a text that said, "Hey, come on up." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I gotta go."
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
well, welcome, man, and we
Yeah,
appreciate you
absolutely.
coming on, man. I was kind of putting this thought together, man, because as you know, man, you've been a part of the journey. I wanted to start integrating topics into these things, and going to start exploring, reaching a different kind of way, different audience in a different way. And it was just one of those that was like, okay, well, that's a good, okay, that's a pretty good one, maybe.
Mhm.
So I done the SEO on it and everything and got it right. And then, I wanted to come up with like, how do I really feel about it? And it really, like, what is it that I'm thinking over this? And it truly come down to feeling, and that's funny because I asked myself, how do I feel about it?
Mhm.
And my answer to myself was, it's about feelings. We have created a culture in which that everybody has fell into some kind of horrible thought that your feelings matter to everybody else. And I'm sorry to break it to you, but they don't.
They do not.
That's just not the way it works.
No.
And now that doesn't mean that the people around you don't care about the way you feel. I'm just saying that the
In the
world as a
general
whole
populace,
don't care.
yeah.
That's
I
how
agree.
I'm approaching it.
Mhm.
But that's just the way that I was approaching it as far as. But there's such a deeper issue with the whole thing. I guess you've pretty much been in some more populated areas yourself, haven't you, brother Clint? You've been,
Yes, sir.
like you're up towards like a little bit when I say populated, more populated than where I'm at. So it only
Yes.
takes about 20 people to do that. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get 20 people in a group, then you got a little bit. Nah, it's not that small where I'm at. But
Yeah.
is it something that really affects like that because you're at that generation that you remember the time when you actually went over to your friend's house on a Saturday morning and actually hung out all day with that friend and you went through little squabbles together.
Mhm.
You might have been a little gang of the neighborhood at the time and thought you were the tough guys at one time. And the way you learned was that, that's just the but then you seen the shift from, well, now, man, to call themselves hanging out, they FaceTime each other. Instead of going to each other's house, they'll FaceTime, and it's like, well, y'all could walk a mile each one of you could. Like, I remember me and my best friend, he lived like if you went the main route around, then it was several miles, but there was a back road that went around that was the bridge had been shut down for a long time. It was just an old bridge. It was the old part of the road, but it cut the travel time down, and if we both walked, we could meet each other long through there about halfway, and then depending on whose house we was going back to, then we walk with each other back to, either he was walking with me back to my house, or I was walking with him on back to his house. Well, now it seems like a lot of that is went away. A lot of the personal interactions with one another, it's been traded for this.
Well, that's a
Which
real
this
good
is
analogy,
awesome.
man.
This is awesome. I love this. I love this because you're able to keep up with people in a long distance kind of way. But when you have the opportunity as kids, I think especially, man, that's the time to get together. That's the time to, live it up and run through, whatever it is, and put the phones down. I wouldn't care if my kid wanted to leave his phone here and just go play, go hang out all day and tell me about what you did when you get back in this evening. You know what I mean? And know that phone wasn't so integrated, but now it is. I mean, I'm talking all this smack, but at the same time, I mean, you got to bend. You've got to let I'm not going to treat him
Well, I
like
think
he's in the Stone Age.
it's also important too, though. Like even though, like like we said on here before, it's like you have these tools, use the tools as such. Don't let them use you. And as a parent with a son as well, teaching him inclusivity. Like one thing I noticed was, like if one he was hanging out with one buddy and another one came over, and I caught this at a earshot one day. It's like, no, I'm already hanging out with someone. I'm like, what just happened? Whoa. Let's just slow this down. I'm like, when we used to roll around, there'd be 6, 7 of us at least. You know what I mean? And everybody was invited, and maybe you weren't the best of friends with everyone, but you learned something from everyone, and you learned something about yourself. And I think that if that starts at a young age, especially now, the older they get, the more secluded they become, right? Because what happens if you have a falling out with that one person you've invested all your time in? You're lost, right? So,
well, when I remember they used to have this little rec night deal, Clint, back in the day, at Norrisville Elementary School there, right outside of Jarrettsville, there in Maryland. And my buddy, he lived on a little road called Erie Road, and I lived out on 24 at the time. It was Route 24. Anyway, they had this little rec night out there on Friday evenings, and my mom and dad wound up taking me out there, and Frank's mom and dad wound up taking him out there. At that time, we were not best friends. Matter of fact, we leaned more towards. I don't want to say we were enemies, because that's a big word, but we were competitively not getting along.
right.
He was a good-looking youngin'. I was a good-looking youngin'. We was both at that age where we was both trying to have little girlfriends and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, we got to going out there to that little rec center, and the forces that be, however they work, it ended up creating a friendship that I would like to say that even to this day, even though I haven't talked to him in years, it's been probably 6 or 8 years now since I've even spoke to him. But I know that he still feels the same way. Like, man, we had a cool friendship for several years, and it all blossomed from a forced interaction together, where like the little, I don't know, I was directing it to you, Clint, just because I was thinking maybe you might know the little school, but the little school, it was a small schoolhouse, and it wasn't like you had this huge space where you could get away from each other, and it was in the nighttime, so you was in this gymnasium. So you'd play games like dodgeball and that kind of those kind of games. Well, those types of interactions with one another, even at 13 years old, 12 years old. That's about how old I guess we were when we started going that little rec night. It was for under 16 or under 15, however it was. Maybe it was under 18. I can't remember now exactly, but it was for kids. It was for younger teenage kids and stuff. But that created a friendship. And I think that if it would have been anything other than face to face interaction and like personal interaction, I think we'd have probably stayed not friends. Because we weren't friends. I mean, we weren't enemies, but we weren't friends. Like he wasn't my buddy. I never intended upon him being my buddy because I didn't have to be around him, so I didn't mess, you know what I mean, whatever. But then in a situation where I was, like I wanted to be able to go to rec night, he wanted to be able to go to rec night. Well, you're forced to be around each other. It created a friendship that lasted, still lasting forever, and it was due to that. I just believe it was due to that forced interaction and not having this between us as far as like the way I see my kid interact these days. Well, they do the FaceTime and all this kind of stuff, but man, that ain't the same as y'all getting together and like having matter of fact, you could have a bonfire here and help Dad burn up some of these brush piles I got,
Yeah.
man. Hey,
Well, that's social media in general. Like I was talking about this with another fella. It's like, people don't really present themselves how they really are. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's always like here's the good version of me. I'm happy all the time, or my life is the best. Here's a story about my dog. It's like, dude, I don't really care. Like, you know what I mean? Like what's really going on and who are you as a human? The screen kind of can take some of that out of it if a person doesn't, maybe don't even know who they are is kind of one thing that I've been realizing. It's like, why are you going along with this agenda or just mindlessly agreeing? And more importantly, when I ask this, why does it upset you so much? You know what I mean? And that's something that's kind of been on my mind a lot lately. I think being a parent and having kids, like especially now, seeing the changes that are coming and just watching some of the behaviors and being like, all right, now honestly for myself, like I was raised pretty in a very forward home where things were very direct. So can't go that way 100% anymore because that just pushed me towards the things that I shouldn't have ran towards. However, there is a way to explain things like, hey, like listen, you got this point in your life that's only going to exist one time and you can maximize your potential. You can do that right now and expand your horizons for the rest of your life, or you can put yourself in this little box and make that box who you are. And that's something I'm trying to get away from myself and also for him. It's like, you spend enough time on these forums and talking to people, you do get to meet, like me and you got to meet in Gen X, and we get to do this kind of conversation right now and compare the past to the future. But as you said before, if you don't have those mentors and role models, much like if I did not have some of the mentors and role models I had, my situation would be a lot different than it currently is, right? So yeah, paying that forward and passing that knowledge down is it's tricky though, man. It ain't easy.
Well, Clint, as the three of us here that have kids, you have kids that actually are adults. My kids aren't adults yet,
No,
neither
mine
is
either.
Sean's.
No.
My girl, she's 17, so I don't, cause she's not an adult yet. But as a man that's already raised, uh, his children up to a point where they take care of, I don't want to say you ever stop being a dad, but now that they take care of their own stuff, are you glad that you was able to get them up and raised before a lot of this mess started, or would you rather still had them? What's your feelings on that?
Good question.
Well. First, let's clarify that I didn't raise my boys. I was,
Okay.
my situation is the same
Yeah.
as yours. I was in and out
Yeah.
behind the walls a lot. I was ripping and running, acting a fool. So my late wife, bless
Right.
her soul,
Right.
she raised them, and she did a good job and did the best she
Yeah.
could.
Yeah. Shout out to you, man. Yeah. Commend you for
um,
even acknowledging that, man. Yeah.
oh yeah, I got to.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
my
That's
biggest
straight
thing
up.
in life. A lot of people don't like thieves. A lot of people don't like liars. A lot of people don't like this. My biggest thing is hypocrisy. I do not
Yeah.
like hypocrites. I don't
Yeah.
care what you believe in. I don't
Yeah.
care what you want to follow, but stick
Yeah.
to it.
Yep.
Stick to it, own it,
Yep.
make it yours. Don't bounce. And I can't be hypocritical, man. Every time I say something, I think in my head, I'm like, man, that's hypocritical as shit. Because I'd be mad at Guy or Shine if they had said it.
Mhm.
So I can't say that. I just,
Right.
I'm a fool.
Mhm.
So I got to admit that all the time. You know, I want to make sure that's out there because that woman, you know, she's passed on, but she needs her praise and she did a hell of a job with very little.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
My kids, you know, I got lucky. They started in their young life. They started off like the rest of this generation, third generation started, lazy, disrespectful. You know,
Yeah.
not having any of that knowledge that should have been taught to them. And but they flipped. They flipped. My youngest flipped when his mother passed. He was 16.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'm
tough.
telling you that boy was on a road that was worse than I was ever on. Like
Yeah.
I saw where he was going.
Yeah.
I already knew I was going to be bailing him out in a year or so. I already knew it.
Yeah.
I just knew it.
Yeah.
And when she passed, he just did a complete 180. And I asked him, I'm like, man, what's going on with you? And he said, Mom's up there looking down on me, and I am not shaming her. And I was like, whoa.
Amazing.
I was like, whoa, like coming
Yeah.
from him, like a 16-year-old, like,
Yeah.
are you freaking kidding me?
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was so proud as a man. I was proud as a father. I was proud as a parent. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mhm.
just that he even had that thought in his head, like that even existed.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, he turned into a hard-working, blue-collar family man. He was ready for his family at an early age. He didn't know who it was going to be, but he was ready.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was the kind of dad that was like, slow down, bud. You're young. You're good looking. Take your time. Find your foot.
Yeah.
You know, go have some fun. Nah, he
Yeah.
wanted no part of that. He was going to find him a wife
So,
and make him a family. And he's doing it, man. He's
That's
26
awesome.
years old. He's got a wife,
awesome.
got 2 young kids, owns a home. They own 2 cars. He's
Man.
busting his butt.
Yeah.
The man went on vacation in May to Puerto Rico, and the second day on his vacation, his job calls him and lays him off. On vacation. On
Man,
vacation.
That's greasy, dude.
Is that
On vacation.
Yeah.
wow?
Greasy.
Yeah, that's Pluto. I beat
That's
Pluto.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
They called me from the hotel in Puerto Rico, both of them freaking out.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, it's Tuesday. When do y'all fly back? And they said Thursday. I said, then worry about it Thursday. You're there. You don't spend your
That's right.
money. You can't come home today unless you want to buy another ticket with money you obviously ain't got now.
Yeah.
Right.
So enjoy it. And they did. They enjoyed it. They come back Thursday. Friday morning, he said, Dad, you want to ride with me? I'm like, what? He said, while I was on vacation, I applied for DoorDash and they accepted me right away. I want to go ahead and make a couple bucks while I'm putting applications in. I know the roads real well in the town. He wanted a DoorDash, so I rode with him. I mean, he come right back and had another job. That's
Dude.
my young son. Like,
That's right. That's right. Well,
You know,
man, we definitely
That's amazing.
support that, man.
Yep.
You know, where I
But-
come from, I know that my child, I say I know this, a lot of things can change, but as the projection goes, as the way that history tells me and what he says, I know that he's not wanting to go to college. I know that that's not part, but man, just making it commendable that giving an honest day's work,
Mhm.
just going and doing something, man, that is where the respect is found. It ain't about what you're doing.
No.
It's about the fact that you're doing. That's what
Mhm.
a young lady's going to look for. That's what
right.
people are going to say, hey, man, the young man's working. He's trying. You know what I mean? And it does not matter what you're doing. It does not matter what the job is. It's the respect that you're doing it and trying. And there's and what that tells me about your son and Upbeat is, and I like dealing with people like this, is that they know there's something bigger than them.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that.
Yep.
Because that's the truth, man. I lived a lot of my life as if there wasn't something more important than me. And being able to see that at a young age, that's commendable, and we want to push that up, man. That's what it's that's
I absolutely
you keep
love it,
focusing
man.
on that.
I absolutely love it to see that old school male mentality. And I mean, here's another one. 26 years old, will not take nothing from anybody. Won't
That's
take
right.
no money. Wouldn't take money
That's
from
right.
me. if we was out and about and he didn't have no money on him and I bought lunch, he would do his best to give me that lunch money back tomorrow.
That's
Like
right.
Yeah.
that's his thinking. And
Yep.
it's as a dad, you want him to be like, nah, man, take what you can when you can, but at the same time, I'm like, that's a man.
Yeah,
That's
right.
a
Yeah,
man right there.
Yeah, it
You
is,
know,
man. I like that.
he's making his own way, and you got to love it. And my oldest, brainiac, just the biggest brain you can imagine.
Yeah.
He graduated high school at 16. He
Oh,
went to
wow.
college, went to George Mason University.
Wow.
He created his own degree. I still to this day don't know what he does. Like
They're
he
still trying to
designed.
figure
I
it
got
out.
one of them degrees too.
Yeah, I showed up. I showed up for the graduation. What he got, I don't know. He
Yeah.
created. He made his own classes and formed his own freaking.
I'm gonna
degree.
do it my
awesome,
way.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It's
so
awesome.
so you
I'd
gotta
say
love
mine
that.
didn't have as many classes, but I got a degree a lot like that.
So you gotta
I did it
you
my
gotta
way.
love it.
Yeah.
You gotta
you
love
do.
it. But growing
Yeah, you do.
up, watching them grow up as youngsters, man, that's when it bothered me. Is because I started seeing this entire generation,
Mm.
and I think the biggest thing I took out of it was laziness and lack of respect. Nobody teaches respect to the kids no more.
Mhm.
Everybody teaches their kids that they can say what they want to this adult over here. They can,
Yeah.
if they want to do this, they can do that. Or if this adult was to say something to this kid, it's the
Mhm.
adult's fault. You're going to scold the adult in front of the kid. Well, what do you think the kids learn? When I grew up, if an
Yep.
adult said something to me, my
Oh,
mom
dude.
wanted to know what I did. What did you do
Yeah.
to make Miss So and So
Yeah.
say that?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well,
You know,
Yeah.
that's
y'all been
it's
in my chat long enough to know and been around me now long enough to know, like, when my Aunt Chris comes in, I still direct her as Aunt Chris.
mhm,
Because she's my aunt, and I was
mhm,
raised to respect her in a higher at a higher level than the rest of the people, and she earned that title as well.
mhm.
She was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person, but at the same time, you were raised to call it the people at the bank clerk or the store clerk Mr. or Mrs. You didn't just direct someone older than you by their name without a Mr. in front of it or a Mrs. in front of it or whatever. But that was good manners to learn. I'm not saying that
Mhm.
that's the way it has to be, but that was
But
just
it
good
worked. It seemed to work
moral
better.
manners.
You
Yeah,
know.
I,
Yeah. And it
I'm
did.
going to go ahead. I'm going to butt against that, and I'm going to say it should be the way it has to be because
there you go.
it's not just about manners. When you teach that, it teaches
Yeah.
other things along the line.
Yes,
Like
it
And
does.
respect for themselves. You know what I mean?
yes,
Like, yep.
Yeah,
yes,
I
Yep.
like that. Yeah,
Yep.
and
I can get down with that because man, it truly builds a character
Mm.
within you, because
Mm.
even if you don't like somebody, I can just butter them right on up with Mr. and Mrs. and
Mhm.
just what that, because it comes right on out that easy. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, okay, and that's the kind of things I think that, my dad was always the kind of person that, like, he didn't have to come down on us kids for us to feel like that he come down on us. You know what I mean? Like, you just knew what he expected, and you did. It wasn't about whether he was going to beat you or not. It wasn't like that. It was about, you just knew that that was expected out of you, and that they'd
Yeah.
be disappointed in you if
That's the key
if they
there. Yeah.
caught you back
disappointed,
talking
Yeah.
or
I'm mad. I'm just disappointed. Just
disappointed.
feel the heart sink,
man.
man.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Dang,
meant
man.
something, man.
Oh, yeah.
When them people that you looked up to and guided your life when you was little
Hmm.
looked at you and said, "You are disappointing me." Like
Mm.
Oh man,
you
dude.
might as well beat me.
Oh,
You might as well
might as
beat me.
well.
I'd rather
You
the
might as
beaten.
well.
Yep.
It'd be
Yep.
easier to take.
Yep.
It'd be
Yeah.
easier to take,
Mhm.
man. Like,
Heals
I can
quicker.
totally
Yeah.
just let me get the belt. Let me get
Yeah.
the belt, Dad. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
It
I,
was.
I didn't want, but that also, I think that comes down to, like, it just starts out with those small little tiny things, like, just that respect factor, and your parents being worthy of that respect. Let's be key on that.
Mhm.
I believe that there's a worthiness that you are to put out there for your child that you're not putting out there for anyone else. That child is part of you. That child is
Yes.
your flesh and blood, and that makes them worthy of your effort. Now, it's on you to put that effort in for them to feel that. And I think when they do, they don't want to feel that disappointment. They
No,
don't
they don't.
want to they don't want to disappoint you. They'll do things wrong and
Yeah.
they'll make mistakes, but they'll want to come and tell you the truth because they know that'll make at least that part of it like, okay, you told me the truth. All
Mhm.
right, now I'm mad. I hate that you did this and this is dumb, but I appreciate you telling me the truth about it. Now let's figure out how we're gonna deal with it.
Mhm.
But I think that starts with us as parents being worthy of it. All the way through, all the
Yeah.
way through. Once you're a parent, you're always a parent, but knowing when it's time for them to like you got sons that are wanting to do for themselves, and you know where your place is. Like, okay, I'm dad, but like, hey, they're doing their thing. It's not for me to tell him what he should or shouldn't do. Like, I throw advice out there, but if he don't want it, he's a man. He'll
Yeah, I can
take it or
throw
That's
it
leave
out.
it.
You can
Like,
pick it up
that.
or leave it down.
you know,
That's a whole new
it's
tricky situation that
it's
you got to
hard.
adapt to because
Yeah.
I see them as an adult and I see them. They're my son communicates with me daily. He'll probably hit me up here in a little bit, and yeah, he'll tell me what his thoughts are or what they're getting ready to do, and I'll give my advice, and I'll be like, son, you might not want to do that just yet. I realize you think you got this great job, and him getting laid off in May, I think, was a learning lesson he needed
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he had this great job. He was at the top of it. He worked his way up, making great money, and so he wants to go do some loose things that a young man would want to do with his money.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Right.
son, you got 2 kids. You better put that in an account and
Mhm.
save that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm okay. They're busy. We're working overtime. I'm like, yeah, I've worked that job too, bud. And
Yeah.
you never know when it's coming to an end.
Mhm.
And I think he learned that. And but I'll try to give him advice. And you see him go against it, and I see it. I like you've already experienced it, so you know where this is going. And I just want to stop him.
Yeah.
And I start getting a little mad. Then I got to catch myself like, you know what? He's a grown man.
Yeah.
He's got to figure it out the same way most of us did by screwing it up.
That's
You got to
Yeah.
screw it up. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And that's the best
it
life
is
lesson
tough.
you can get. Yeah, it is. It's so
That
hard
is
because you
tough.
see it. You want to stop it. Like, man, no, don't.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, here we go.
Figure it out. I'll be here when you hit the bottom.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And sometimes, man, that's a worthy spot for them to hit. Is
Yeah.
right at the bottom.
Yeah.
It is.
And,
It really
and
is.
as a parent, that's a hard spot to allow them to hit. But sometimes you got to stand back and say, well,
Well, the
yeah,
more you
there
try
you
to
go,
resist
you
it, the
know?
faster they're going to run
Yeah,
towards
they're
it,
just
right?
gonna keep pulling away from you. So that's, but
Yeah.
as our kids get older, like for my kid, I just try to stress on him now at this point. It's like, bro, you're coming up on 16 now, so just remember that these things that you do now might truly affect you for the rest of your life.
Oh,
And you might be found as an adult in things that
Yep.
you do. So you remember that because dad can't take the blame. Mom and dad can't be there in a lot of ways now. You've got to make these, you've got to remember, be cognizant, I guess is like,
Yeah.
you got to know that it's on you now. You get out here with your buddies and y'all steal a car or you do something stupid. Hey, once you get in that kind of trouble, mom and dad can't do squat ola for you. I ain't got that kind of loot. I can't afford to buy it. Hell, all they got to do is hear my name and they'll give them a couple extra years, man, just to spite.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah.
I warned both my boys.
Yeah.
I warned both of them. I was like, you do realize the last name you have, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like they're kind
This
they're
big old
young.
red flag comes up when they run it.
like-
So
Yeah.
They're
It's
kinda
in
young.
italics
Yeah.
when it comes up, man. Like, dang, man.
Yeah.
They're young and they kind of look at it as in dad's got this reputation,
Yeah.
he's cool. I'm like, yeah, I'm cool on the street. But you
Mhm.
get in trouble and get behind that door with that judge, and my name means a totally different thing.
Ain't cool.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Hey,
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
That's something I picked up from my old man. And I try to stay conscious of it all the time. Is like his son's getting to the age where he's asking those questions, right? Because he remembers a lot of stuff. And I'm honest with him, but I don't I found the way my dad used to tell stories made me want to do exactly what he did. I'm like, man, that sounds awesome. Until you land yourself in that position, you're like, this ain't cool at all, man. So how you present that information going forward is like, look, this is what happened. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, and I'm going to tell you what the repercussion was.
Yeah.
Now, if I were you, I'm not telling you what to do, but you might want to sidebar this one. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
yeah, man. But that comes down to is like a lot of like going back to what you were saying about the parents. Like this is something that I've been dealing a lot with, man. Like I'll get a rap on the door, like tuck, 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 and some parents there and be like, "Hey, your son did this to my son at school today." I'm like, "All right." It's like, "Wyatt, come here." So he'll come over and I'll be like, "What happened?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, this happened," and whatever. We ended up punching each other a few times, and that was the end of it. I'm like, so right to the parent. Then I'm like, "Why are you here? Why are you doing this?" If they don't solve these things themselves, like I get if somebody gets hurt extremely bad, okay, we got to deal with that. But this is the stuff that everybody goes through. And if you can't deal with that, and mom or dad are coming to save you every time, that just creates a dangerous person,
That's
man.
not. Yeah, you got
Yeah, yeah,
that's where it comes
reckless
to
person.
get together and hang out and let them solve some issues on their own, get into some
Yeah,
issues on their own,
of
and
course,
I mean,
man.
did y'all
Yeah.
come up like me? I mean, when I hung outside with my friends and we battled all the time.
Oh
Our
yeah.
oh,
parents just
dude,
our
Oh
parents
yeah.
just bought they went and bought boxing gloves at Kmart, chucked them out in the yard and said, have at it, work it out.
That's
That
right.
was it.
oh
Work
well,
it
You're
I
out.
lucky you got boxing
man,
gloves, man.
in
So,
the little town that
yeah.
you'll know this area, Clint. It was called Columbia, Maryland. Man, it was
Mhm.
right outside of Baltimore. It was kind of a big spot at the time. Well, it is a big spot. Well, I was just a boy when we moved there out of Havre de Grace. I think I was about 3, and we moved into some housing development. It
Mm.
had like like condominium style like houses in it, or I don't want to say like a. They were like they were like
Like
3-story
triplexes?
apartments. They had
Yeah.
like a basement, a first story, and then a second, and then another story.
Okay.
So I guess it would be a 2-story with a basement in them and everything. And then, but they were just one right after another in rows, man.
Row
Anyway,
houses.
yeah,
That's
That's
what
like
what
I
they
was
row
call
about.
them.
Yeah.
houses
Yeah.
style. And anyway, man, when we first moved there, it was kind of cool. But then I was there till I was going into the 3rd grade. I think I was getting ready to turn 8 or 9 or something like that. But man, that turned into one of those spots where, as a kid, it turned into us young kids having a cool little area to hang out. That all of a sudden, with the new development, there was a development that went in, that the Section 8 housing and stuff right there at us, and like there was a lot of like crime just like
Hmm.
all of a sudden
Yep.
came in and overwhelmed us, and us kids, man, it became dangerous for us because it wasn't that there was anything against us. We just happened to be in the area.
That's right.
It was just not a good spot. So my dad, like, we got, he moved us out there, and that's when we moved to Churchville, man.
Yeah.
um but then, man, once we got to Churchville, it was like out in the country a little bit, like a little bit out away from everything. And man, I had one of them child. Well, you get together with your friends and go play ball. Baseball was a huge part of everything there.
Hmm.
So yeah, man, dude, that's what I think all childhood should be about, man. And like
Yeah.
everybody should get to live. And we didn't get along. There was some people that, like, they weren't your favorite people, but for the sake of having enough to play a good game of two-hand touch or football or basketball or whatever, then everybody got along, and you did what you got to do for the sake of playing the game. You know what I mean? And you may not really like them all that much, but if they were on your team, you passed the ball to them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It was like,
Yeah. There was a lot of unwritten rules I found you learned quick, right? Like
yeah,
where I grew up too, I grew up in section housing, row housing. So there was lots of gangs and stuff like that. So pretty much by grade 6, at the very latest, you had to pick where you were gonna go and do like which one of these factions. And luckily for myself, like I knew everybody. Like I was kind of that kid who like went to all the groups beforehand, like much like my son does. So I knew a lot of these guys, and then you get into junior high, but violence was the thing. Like wasn't really a small town, like 100,000 people back then, right? It's bigger now, but it was big enough that the best thing to do was fight, and you learned through that, which was interesting, who your real friends were, like when things hit the fan. But you also learned another thing, which I find is really, a lot of people get kind of angry when I say this, but through the violence, you learned not only how to survive, but you learned a certain kind of respect, right? So it was like no one was going to just beat you or do something to you unless you showed up to one of these places you probably shouldn't be in the first place. And if you show up to dance, well, bring your dancing shoes, kind of thing. Now, Monday, everything just resets and goes back to where it is. But now you made a choice. Either I'm going to go back to that situation, or the next time I see this group, I'm just going to, again, sidebar that and go past them, and everything's going to be fine. Today, what I see is like, even if I go for a walk by myself, which I like to do in the evening time, kids I would, guess that are probably 12, 13 years old, they're cussing at me, right? And I mean, I'm still, fit enough that I can get around the backside and backtrack on them and walk up behind them, give them the old school scare. But I mean, they're still mouthing off to you and sassing to you. And it's like, man, I would never dream of doing this. Like to someone I know, let alone someone I don't know, because the repercussions would be that extreme. So I don't want to say it's the best way to grow up, but I mean, it's got me this far. You know what I mean? And I try to pass that down as best I can, where you got to stand up for yourself in certain situations, but there's definitely ones you can avoid. And again, learn how to do that, because it's going to happen to you in life one way or another, right? Like whether it's with a job, a boss, someone telling you what's going to be what, or pushing you around, making you work extra hours. You got to learn how to say no and how to stand up for yourself, right? Like, I'm not doing this. I'm just not going to do it, or I am going to do it, and here's why, right? But don't
Exactly.
be in that in between spot, because you're going to stay there a real long time.
Well, you're going to stay there and you're going to get caught up in stuff that you never wanted to get caught up in anyway,
Yeah,
because
that's
you
right.
just stood in between. You just
Yeah,
put yourself in the position, make
that's
a
Gotta
right.
choice,
make that.
stick to it, and ride it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you gotta make
You know?
that. You gotta make that decision at some point. That's
Yep.
kind of how my analogy goes with creating change. Is like, man, I'm willing to bend just a bit. I'm willing to sway
Mhm.
just a bit. But there comes a point at which where you're asking me to lean too far out over my roots, man, and that's just not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just not what I'm about. I can't. I can't. I can accept, and I can go with certain things. But then there comes a point in time for myself as a person, I have to say that's a little bit outside of my root zone. I can't sway no more. I'm sorry, but I can't sway no
Yeah.
more,
The
man. That's
buck
just the way
stops
we
here.
gotta be.
Yep.
That's the way it is.
Yep.
But I also encourage everybody else. That's the way you have to be with
Mhm.
yourself. You have to make a stand at some, and I think that's man. It's a perfect segue right back into what the whole idea of you have to make a decision and be able to live with that decision, and you have to also accept that just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean everybody else feels that way.
No.
I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
Well,
Yep.
The
that's the flip side of that, right? You make a decision to stand with it, and on the other side of it, allow a person to make a decision, respect
Yep.
it,
Yeah.
and you ain't got to agree with it.
That's
You ain't
right.
got to like it. You ain't got to do what they do, but you can
Uh,
respect that that's that person's
Yeah,
decision.
yeah,
Yep.
It don't affect my life none.
yeah,
What you chose is not going to bother me. But
yeah,
people don't do that. They want you
yeah,
to like what they like, do what they
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
do, and hate what they hate. And I do
Mm.
And
not
see,
get that.
I
I
can't
don't
do
get
that.
that.
I
I
can't do
it
that.
don't compute.
I
It
No, it
don't
doesn't.
compute.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. It's like, I don't care what you think, just as long as you do. You know what I
It's
mean?
just
That's
like
all. Please just think about
I
anything. You
to
know.
to say that it's just like we were talking there a couple lives ago about like to say that I accept is one thing, but that doesn't mean I proclaim it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean
That's right.
that's like, hey, that's the way. That just says that okay, you do what you do, whatever. I accept that that's the way you want to do things, but that don't mean I proclaim that that's the way that it's supposed to be. That just means like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, cool, you do you. I'm
Mhm.
doing me. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like in the long run, that's just the way it is. But it seems like there's been a lot of leaning towards where instead like you have to like that's the way like you have to say that's
Mhm.
also the way you feel about it too, or that's the way
Y-
like not just because I say it's cool you do what you do, that doesn't mean that I necessarily agree with it. It doesn't mean that I have to agree with it. You do you're like okay, you do what you do,
Those pushed conformity or forced conformity. It's not a.
Yeah.
It's never worked. You know what I
I'm not
mean?
gonna
It's
yeah
I don't know.
Well,
But
not only is it not going to work, but if you
yeah.
start allowing that, then there's no stop. There's no stop. It's going to change direction every generation, but it's not going to stop.
Yep.
And that makes no sense to me.
Yep.
It's like you're fighting the same
It's,
battle
yep.
every 12 years.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
12 years, it's the same battle. It's like
Yep.
nothing's getting solved,
Clint,
nothing's getting fixed, nobody's
Sharon,
learning
y'all
from
know
Mhm.
some of our most favorite, like you think about it, guys. Both of y'all are in my same area. Actually, I'm in between both of you in age. So, but man, like some of our favorite comedians and favorite jokesters and favorite stuff
Mhm.
have just bent this need to apology, and then that leaves you're stuck. Then
Oh,
you're
yeah.
always apologizing for
Yeah.
something. You're stuck
Yep.
apologizing forever and ever. And I mean, and some of them you don't even hear from them no more. They don't even
Mhm.
put stuff out no more
No.
because they lost that. Like you took afraid of getting, afraid somebody's feelings is going to get hurt. And then if it's the
Mhm.
wrong person that has the right amount of people following them, then you can lose your job, your sponsorships, your all this stuff. And I get it, man. Like you're trying to take people's livelihoods away from them
Mhm.
just because they didn't necessarily agree with the way that you do, whatever.
That's where I think there should be some massive repercussions for people who engage in that behavior, because what I've seen through this time frame for people that you're referring to there now is, like you said, them getting stripped of everything on these accusations. Like there's no proof of whatever it is you're saying. You're just accusing the person, then you're stripping them of everything. And here's the odd thing. After even they're found out to be, okay, maybe we jumped the gun on that one, or in fact it was an active campaign to take this person down, they don't get reinstated. They don't get their stuff back. And that person carries on being a fool. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So
Their
like,
meanwhile, their reputation's pretty well shot,
that's
and they
it.
can't do. And that's what I'm saying, man. Is like that's the part of this whole thing that I just never can accept that as being cool.
No.
That's not
No.
going to be. It's not the way it's supposed to be. And that's the part in which where I wish that there was a way that you could make it to where for me, I mean, I wish I could make it where everybody could kind of see it the same way and stop being dumb.
Mm.
But some people just their makeup. They want to do they want to be involved in those types of things and do dumb stuff. So it's like you can't do nothing to change, but you can throw your opinion out there.
Yeah.
And
And I have
you
young
know,
family members who are part of the cancel culture. They got that mentality, they got that thinking.
Yeah.
And they've looked at me and said, well, y'all grew up listening to this stuff. I don't understand why you listen to it, why y'all put up with it. And I was like, I agree. Some of that shit was crap. But you
Right.
know what we did? You know what we did? We didn't listen if we didn't
we
like
just
it.
didn't listen to it.
Yeah.
We didn't buy the
moved
album.
on with our
Yeah,
lives.
yeah, we didn't buy the
I
album.
didn't.
We
I
didn't
didn't
go to their
say.
concerts.
That's
I
right.
didn't say I don't. I
Yeah.
don't like Clint because he listened to Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
okay,
No,
well,
no.
like,
Yeah.
or
But that's
whoever he might listen
what's
to.
cool
Yeah.
about that thing is like it was that unity, like you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like where you had like people would get together and be like, no, hell no, we're not putting up with this, and
Yeah.
people would stand together rather than hiding behind a screen and like just shouting out these insane ideals. It's like, well, what if this was you? Like that's one thing I do with my son. How would you feel if this happened to you, right? And he uses that a lot when he's doing stuff. Like, and I'll even hear him say it to his buddies. Like, you shouldn't say that. How would you feel if it was you? To one of his buddies. And that they don't like. That's something you have to teach, right? Because it's not doesn't seem to be being taught in the school system. As far as I'm like, that's just like here, like we get these papers now. Like if you got in big trouble back in the day, like I mean, they just call your parents, and that was not something you wanted to happen,
Man, we
right?
used to be. I ain't gonna lie. I used to be scared of my teachers. Now kids
No,
ain't scared of their teachers no
No.
more.
no,
They're not
Hey,
scared. They're not scared of nobody. They don't
they
have
no,
ain't
to
scared of
they don't
nobody.
have to be. That's
Yeah,
it.
they don't
Nope.
have to be. And that I ain't gonna lie. That's it. That fear's a great motivator.
Oh
And
yeah,
you
can be.
I
It can be.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Dude, I was
there's
wild.
a healthy amount of fear. Yeah,
yeah.
I was
yeah.
wild. I was a wild little youngin. I like to tear crap up. I like to get into stuff. I mean, I wasn't overly bad, but I was wild as
Yeah,
a little dude.
yeah.
But when I was coming back home before the street lights come out, when I got to that street by my house, I knew to walk straight because I didn't have to worry about mom I had to worry about Ms. Z. I had to worry about Mr. P. I had to worry about
Yeah.
everybody on that way to home. If I acted up, oh, mom knew it before I got there.
Oh
That was
yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
So I respected. I don't know if I would call it respect. I definitely feared people when I
Mm.
was young, and I knew to act right until I
Absolutely.
learned to make it respect. I learned.
Absolutely.
You kind of evolved that yourself, but I think
Yeah.
fear as a youngster is a good motivator. It's
Absolutely.
until they know things, that's all they do know is fear.
Yeah.
Well, and
And
I mean, it's better to have a bit of fear in you than this, over the top false confidence that's just gonna
false
land
confidence.
you know what I mean? It's gonna like that's the thing. It's like I remember my old man saying to me, he's like 10 feet tall and bulletproof till you ain't, right? But I mean,
Yep.
back then you were still throwing down and we were doing stuff. Now it's like you got nothing to back what you're saying. And I'm gonna tell you that sudden stop at the end is a hell of a smash, man.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. That's what scares me. It's like what's going to happen because I mean, people are still going to get in trouble. They're still going to make bad choices, and you're going to land in a bad spot with bad people to do bad things, and then you're going to get a dose of reality real quick, real quick.
And then you're
Mm.
going to be shocked because you don't know how it happened or why it's happening to you. You don't have the
No,
knowledge.
that's right.
That's the difference with me. I got in trouble,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew why I got in trouble. I knew
Yep.
what I did. I knew
Yep.
what got me here. Wasn't no need blaming the police. Wasn't no need blaming the judge. Wasn't no
That's
need
right.
blaming anybody but Clint.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if something happens to them,
Oh, it's
like
always
you said
somebody.
earlier, oh yeah, and they'll run their mouth to somebody, run their mouth, and they get popped in the mouth, and they're like,
Yep.
"Why'd you hit me? Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody
Yeah.
call the police, like, really? You don't realize the situation you just created?
That's
know?
it. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's no responsibility. No, yeah,
No.
it's
Well,
very
we see it.
difficult.
We
It is,
see it
man.
with
Yeah.
with people, man, like with just as simple something as simple as just obeying a police officer when
Mm.
they pull you over and just give them your license and registration and just
Yeah.
going on about your day. They got to pull some kind of stunt to prove that they know more than what they do. Whatever just happened, just being respectful, getting your
Yeah,
ticket, and I'll fight you in court. You
Yeah.
know what I
yeah.
mean? If you think you're
Yeah.
really in the right, why
Oh,
you
I can
got
get
to
this on
stand there?
TikTok. Get my camera.
Like
No.
you're trying to
Yeah.
shit. This
No.
is how you'll see these people wanting to floss in front on these cops because
Yeah.
they have a little bit of an education, and you're like, dude, this guy barely makes over minimum wage,
Mm-hmm.
but your ass would be the first one glad he was there if you was in a car accident and
Yep.
stuck in this vehicle.
That's right.
You'd be tickled to death to have him there, and he would be there. And he barely makes over minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
And you're
Yep.
wanting to stand here and floss on him. You're wanting to stand here and talk smack to him. You know,
Yeah.
that's the kind of crap that just burns me. Like, okay, maybe you do know the law. Maybe he did do something wrong, but just give him your damn license. Tell him who you are. Let him write your ticket and
Yeah.
go fight him in court.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
because
it's
that's a
like,
problem that gets amplified quickly. It's like you want to be a
Mhm.
smart ass. Well, what's going to happen to the next person this fella stops? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, how much of
it's
that can,
just
how
why
much of
do
that can
that
you?
to people?
Yeah,
Like,
if you got nothing that you're hiding or running from, and even if you do, I still suggest you try to show your ID.
just think to be
You know,
respectful, like,
but yeah,
in that situation, like if that dude's there doing, and same way with like I've seen it done like on to paramedics and
no,
firemen and other people.
yeah.
It's like, damn, man, like we're raised like who thinks that that's cool to talk smack to those people or to like to
No,
to
no.
I mean,
Respect,
Yeah.
respect, man.
respect,
That's
man.
Yeah.
that's very
Like,
few people in my hometown. I was with my cousin's wife like 6 months ago. We were riding through town and come to the stoplight and a funeral procession come by,
yeah,
come by.
yeah.
And I took my hat off. And
Mhm.
they went on by and I put my hat back on. She goes, "What the hell did you just do?" I was like, "Yeah, I can tell you're a different generation."
That's
Like,
so
Yeah.
funny. Like that you
Yeah.
say that because
Yeah.
I literally got asked the other day. Like I got a funeral to go to tomorrow, and somebody was actually 2 years older than me. Was like, "What are you taking the hat off for?" I'm like, "What?" Like it was
Yeah.
just such a bizarre concept to me. I'm like, "What?" I'm like, there's a lot of reasons you should take your hat off. And you start going through them. It's like, like back in the day, woman walked in the room, you take your hat off. You don't sit
Yeah.
at the table with your hat on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like all these things. And people are like, "Oh, that's old toxic masculinity," and I'm like, you know what? I don't care if it is. I'm like that. I'm going to stay like that, and I don't intend to change. Like it just
That's just respect. That's
yep,
just respect.
yep,
You
and
know,
it
you're
don't feel
respecting the
right to
lady.
not do it. That's right.
Yeah, you're respecting the lady, you're respecting
Well,
the dinner table, you're respecting the family. I'm respecting the man or woman that just passed away that I don't know, but
That's
they've
right.
led a life and they're leaving this world. And I'm going to take five
that's right.
seconds, take my hat off, and let
That's
them go
right.
by and go to their grave in peace. I mean,
Well, and let their
it
family
didn't hurt
members see
nobody.
that.
No,
And
Yeah,
you
no, it
know
didn't.
that their family members appreciated that. Each one of them that passed you and was able to see that you was showing
Yeah.
that kind of respect, or
Mm,
they appreciate that. They're like,
yep.
cool, man. You know what I mean? Somebody gets it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's
and
that's all
I
you
think
get.
I think being taught that little what would you call it? That little action, that little thing.
It's
Yep.
a piece of wisdom.
Yep.
Yeah, allows me to be more passionate to people because
Yeah.
Correct.
I understand that I don't know this person, but I'm going
No.
to show this person respect. And
Yeah.
and I don't know, it just works out in other places in my life. It allows me to be a little bit more compassionate towards people.
And that's where that
And
empathy comes from that we all need to have for each other, right? Like you got to
yes,
think outside yourself. There's
yes,
a lot more going on, and
yes,
that's just one way to show it. And I mean, too, the other thing, like I'll say for myself, is that even if I know you, I don't know you, whatever it may be, as long as I do whatever that respectful mannerism or action is, I also feel better as a human. Like, you know what I
yes.
mean? It's a reciprocal relationship, right?
I did the right thing in this moment because
Y-
Lord
y-
knows I did a lot of wrong things.
That's
And
right.
Absolutely.
I'm
Yep.
proud of myself. I did the right thing in this moment.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I like that. That's actually I like that. That's a good way of seeing that.
Yeah,
Shine.
man.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Very
you.
good, guys.
Yeah.
Very good, man. This has been a as I try to think of how to close this up. I started out with the thought that it came down to feelings, and I think the answer that I've pretty well came to today is, through sharing with Brother Clinton and Brother Sean, it comes down to, respect.
Hmm.
And that goes for yourself and for
Yep.
the other. And I think it always comes down to, if you show yourself the proper respect of patience, virtue, and wherewithal, then you're going to automatically start dripping that into other people as
Mm,
well, because you have to take their feelings into consideration, or you have to take their thoughts or their opinions into consideration. Doesn't mean you necessarily have to go with them. So I think it just comes down to respect, guys.
yeah.
Teach people to
Lead by
respect one
example, right?
another.
Yep.
And don't say, and it just another one of those simple things we heard as a kid, like, don't say nothing behind nobody's back you wouldn't say to their face,
Hmm.
or to the masses. Because I personally don't say nothing on this microphone, and I carry it that way, that I wouldn't say out in any parking lot or any store or anywhere else. And I think that that's the way, like, for our kids that's coming up. Like, don't put stuff out here that you wouldn't personally go out and stand behind
That's right.
out in the public square.
Mm,
If
Mhm.
don't do that. If
no.
if you
Yep.
will not go publicly stand behind what you're saying, then don't put it out there.
Mm,
That's just a good rule of thumb, I think, for
I think
all
so.
all of us.
I
Yep.
agree.
Um,
I agree.
in this situation. So, guys, this has been an awesome,
Yeah.
awesome addition to creating change. I'm glad to have you, Brother Clint, as far as
Yes. Excellent.
great
Excellent.
to have you on
Thank
this
y'all for
one.
the invite, man. I love
Oh,
Oh,
this.
thanks for coming,
I
man.
really
This is
appreciate it.
awesome. Yeah.
it's man,
It's great.
it's a because I really am sincerely trying to think about topics and things that are fun to talk about, but I also feel like that, like, it gives us a chance to grow ourselves,
Yep.
It is.
hear other perspectives, and maybe maybe throw something out there that somebody else might say, but you know what, man, I say, okay.
Hmm.
Or maybe they won't. I mean, I don't really care. I mean,
But
I
let's
take
talk
it
about it.
either which way. I mean,
That's one thing I know. If we don't talk about it,
we ain't
people,
never gonna know.
no, we're never
Yeah.
gonna know.
Nah.
We
And
can't.
Never.
if nothing else, you make a thought go through their head, and they at least got to think on it.
You
They at
give them
least
that.
got to think on
Exactly.
it, and
You
they got to
can't.
come up with their own decision based on
Yep.
that. They got to
All you can
decide.
do is plant the seed, and
That's
then you
right.
gotta let it grow. It'll take root when it's time, and if it ain't, then it just wasn't. Then so
One
be
meant to
it.
be.
Then
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
so be it. But guys,
Yeah.
we've had elevated Einstein here in the house. We got Miss Amina, Magic of Healing. Shout out to you. Guys, we haven't been trying to ignore Brother Desi in the house. We haven't been trying to ignore. We've been trying to talk a topic through. We've been trying to, just trying to the best that we can, or best that I can. I'm the worst in the world about veering. But anyway, AB, shout out to you. Let's see what he said. AB, our educational system is indoctrinating our children with beliefs that are enforcing this cancel culture, along with many other agenda items. I agree with that. And it does start with our education, with our kids, and that starts with us, and then the schoolhouse involved, and then all that. And it still comes down to, man, it all comes down to teaching them respect.
That's right.
Man, it just really, truly, that's like the core freaking like word that sticks out in my mind. It started off with feelings, and now the word that sticks in my mind is respect.
That's it.
And that's where it all starts at is that respect, man.
Yeah.
Now, I agree with that statement AB just put, but at the same time, I like to assume responsibility for things. Well, I do now.
That's right.
I do now.
And,
And before you can, the educational system is very hypocritical, and it does do that. But it's up to the parents. It starts there. If you know that's what's going on, then
exactly.
you need to reconfigure how your kid is getting their education.
That's right. Yep.
You can't just dump them there, and then when shit screws up, say, "Well, the educational system did this."
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you, the parent, did it. You put them in the lion's den.
That's right.
Indeed.
And you knew what was going on. It's like shout out to the 80s. The more you know. Do.
Channel 4 every night. The more you know. And at 10 o'clock, do you know where your kids are?
That's right.
Oh man, yeah.
Nailed it.
You just told everybody exactly how old we are.
NBC, that little peacock will come up 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad that came on the TV because I don't.
No, I don't.
And then over to 45. On.
That's because we was the remote control. Hey, can you go over and change it on channel 9? All right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quicker.
Hey, shout out to everybody, man. Being
Absolutely.
here with us, Brother Desi in the house. Shout out to you, man. AB, Magic Healing, all of you. Lovic, I think is how you say that. Shout out to you, Miss Patty. See y'all there.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Brother William in the house. Brother William, what's up, man?
Hey, William.
Yeah.
What's up?
Hey, buddy.
Peyton Samuels in the house. Thank you very much. We appreciate all of y'all being here, man. Once again, this is Guy and Sean, and we got Brother Clint
Gen
with us.
X.
Yeah, Gen X. I keep saying Brother Clint. Gen A. Yeah, everybody be looking for Brother Clint. They'll be like, I don't see no Brother Clint. They'll be on my page leaving me old poop emojis and stuff. Like, man, what's that for? But yeah, man. Hey, thank you again, man, for coming on. I'm glad you accepted the invite. It was
my pleasure, man. It was my pleasure. I love hanging with y'all.
Thanks, man.
We'll do this again for sure.
You, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be touching on some topics. You never know. So I'm sure this won't be a final for us. But thank you, man. Thank you again.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
Y'all fellas have a great weekend, man. Y'all have
you
a really
too,
good
man.
weekend, man.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Hey, sir. You too, man. I'll be hollering at you, man.
The poop emojis are already rolling in.
The phone's always on me, brother. Holler anytime you want, man.
Cool, man.
Awesome.
Cool, man.
All right,
hey,
man.
Have a good one, brother. Have a good one, man.
Y'all too, guys.
All right.
Man, what a dude.
Awesome, man. That was great.
Yeah, man. I like having somebody to give it. I like that like it's cool in the comments, but it's also really nice to have that interaction, right back and forth like that. So shout out to Brother Gen X. Y'all can find him at Gen X. We call him Brother Clint here because he is just an outstanding leader of the community, and we just appreciate him.
And if you haven't already, hit up the experiment so he can. I don't know if he hit his 50. I meant to ask him that, but get him up to 50 so he can start doing that as well.
Yep. Good
we'd
shout
all
out,
appreciate
man.
that. Yep.
Yep. Good shout out. Elevated left me a poop.
Yeah, that's right. I said they're coming in already.
Yeah, that's great. Magic
Coming right
Runs.
for us. Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Jimena. She said great conversation, man. There's my mama.
There's
Hey,
family.
mama.
Yeah.
She
good
said
day,
hello
guys.
to Guy and Shine and Clint. Good show, Mama B. Thank you, Mommy. I'll be down to see you in a little bit. Let's see here. Brother AB, thank you again. I appreciate you guys. And Gen X,
Yeah.
once again, thank you, man. If you want to, go ahead and share your stuff down there just in case if there's anybody that hasn't already been there. You can probably do it faster than I could. Oh, I know you can. But guys, we appreciate y'all. This is Guy and Shine.
Yep.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 to 1. Good vibes. Always good vibes.
Have a great weekend. We'll see y'all on Monday.
Yeah, let me get something. Let me get us
Keep
something
on good
pulled up
vibing.
down here.
Keep on thinking.
Oh,
Keep on questioning.
let's see here.
Keep on
Let's
representing.
see. We'll do yeah, we'll do that one. We'll do Brother Tommy's song run. We appreciate you. Shout out to Brother Tommy. Hope you have an outstanding weekend, my brother. Shout out to everybody out there. We appreciate you. Elevated. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Hey, thank you, Shine. Have a good one, man. See
You too, man. Thanks,
Yep,
guys.
good job, guys.
Got a fire in my soul, yeah, it's burning bright. Guy Bandy told me just to follow the light. Well, I heard the people singing with all their might. So I hit the ground running, and I ran all night. And we sang, run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Well, I ran into my family, and I ran into my friends, and I ran into people that I didn't know then. And I said to them, hey, I could use a hand. And then I ran and I ran, and I ran and I ran. And we sang, run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. They say it's dangerous out there, but not if we're all here. If we're together, we can run without fear. They say it's dangerous out there, but not if we're all here. If we're together, we can run without fear. Well, the children and the elders and the strangers and the neighbors and the doctors and the teachers and the farmers and the bakers and the scientists and builders and the singers and the players and the buskers and the dancers and the dreamers and the painters and the coaches and the helpers and the artists and creators and the yogis and the healers and the preachers and the changers and the people and the planet and the forests and the rivers and the mountains and the oceans and the future and the vision. And the buskers and the patience and the future and the vision. Run, run.